our attendees a couple minutes to join, and then we'll go ahead and kick things off. Give us about 2 minutes. All right, I think we've given the latecomers enough time to join. So hi, everyone, and welcome. We are so excited to have you here today. So my name is Elena Dobbins. I know a few of you out there. I'm head of customer success at Maverick. So for the agenda today, we're going to talk about the Maverick vision. We're going to talk about the enormous problem we've spent nearly 10 years solving. You're going to get a sneak peek at our Q4 launch. Now you'll see it is like nothing we've ever built before. Also, it's going to be our CEO's pleasure to share with you what's next with Maverick. Then we're going to wrap up with some time for Q&A. So if you have a question, throw it in the chat and we'll get to that at the very end. So like all of your meetings, our team really does respect your calendar and the time that you've taken out of your day to spend with us. So we're going to try to keep our content to about 15, 20 minutes, and then we'll jump into the Q&A with you. So I think if it's all right with my team, I will go ahead and lead with our vision. So I've been involved with Maverick since it was an idea on the back of a napkin. So the minds behind Maverick never were software developers. We are merger and acquisition advisors specializing in one thing, selling a business to a third party. And we're experts in our field. Here's the problem we set out to solve. How do we help business owners who can't afford to hire experts like us, who usually fail to successfully sell their business? That's when the idea of Maverick was born. Now, we have captured the nuances of selling a business in a software platform, and you should be proud of us because we're not software developers, but it took us a while. We got our hands dirty learning what our users really needed. We've taken feedback, we've applied it. The Q4 launch will bring together everything we've learned across our entire journey. Today, we'll be presenting to you a newly enhanced version of Maverick that has never before been seen outside of our team. I think it's important to fully understand the gravity of the problem we're solving. And to do that, I'd like to tee this over to Marla DiCarlo, CEO of Biz Navigators. Marla?
Thank you so much, Elena. I'm so happy to be here today. So my name is Marla DiCarlo, and I'm an accountant who began my career in mergers and acquisitions, quickly realizing that small business owners are underserved. And that realization led me to launch a successful fractional CFO firm, which I eventually sold to private equity. And that exit was a turning point for me. It inspired me to purchase my first business brokerage firm with one goal: to help business owners maximize the value of what they built and successfully exit their business. Unfortunately, here's the reality that most people don't know, and it should be a wake-up call. Unfortunately, about 80% of businesses that go to the market never sell. And that's not a statistic, it's a failure really of the system. I speak with business owners every day who want to sell, but they don't know if they're ready. And I've spent years helping them to build something valuable, and they still risk with walking away with nothing. And the reason why really is because the process is broken. It's confusing, it's fragmented, it's outdated. And as an accountant who's worked with owners my entire career, I've seen the same patterns over and over again. Most of the business owners that I work with, they don't know how to prepare. They don't know where to start. They don't know what they don't know. And their financials are not clean or complete. They're oftentimes, unfortunately, a mess. And so therefore brokers are overwhelmed because they're trying to support these unprepared sellers. And then buyers, well, they waste time chasing these deals and they're not a fit because those businesses are not ready to sell. There was a study that was actually done by the Exit Planning Institute in 2024, and what they found is that the core issue is clear. Most owners are not prepared to sell. And we understand why. And therefore we have created Maverick with QBN to help give business owners a clear supported path to a successful exit. So the first thing we do is we not only score whether the owner is ready to exit, but also is the business ready to exit. We provide a score on value drivers that are important to a buyer so that the owners understand what buyers are really looking for. It helps them look through the lens of the buyer. And then we can help them with understanding how close they are to being market ready and what steps they need to take to exit successfully. And then we use that data to be able to drive smarter matches. So we align the buyer with the right sellers, which then provides a higher quality of deal flow. And we do this all through the guided platform that simplifies the entire process, even for first-time sellers. So that's the power of Maverick and QBN. And now I'd like to turn this over to David Lee, our product visionary, who's been leading the development of the platform and bringing the solution to life. David?
Monopoly control, right? How much are you differentiated from other competitors, which is a really good thing that buyers want to see, right? Customer satisfaction. So what are people saying on social media? If you go to 2 more slides over, Isabella. Yeah, right there. And then hub and spoke, right? So, and this is a key point for a lot of small businesses. We want to show to buyers that this isn't so owner dependent, right? That becomes a risk when you really start looking at things. Next slide. So once we've kind of set up the seller and the emotional state and the business at a really early level, at early phase, we get to see like they're ready. Let's move them to business readiness. And what we're doing here is actually trying to prepare the business where operations, finance, marketing, advertising, and this is it's all secure. We're allowing sellers to upload a lot of this data. And part of where we're investing lately is on the AI side is like, how do we compile all this, right? Every buyer wants to see something different and we want to allow for that flexibility. But we also understand that a lot of these small business owners don't really have a spreadsheet with cash flow statements or even a balance sheet. So what we're trying to do is compile all this as much as we can and train our model such in a way that we're actually presenting this in a way that Marla and Martin and Elaine have been doing for the past 20, 30 years, right? So package this up. So really just focusing on getting the business polished and ready for sale. Next slide. Before we get too far involved, we want to talk about the fact that like, for many of us who've been through some kind of transaction, there are a lot of people involved and not one person knows everything. So this is where we want to allow sellers as well as buyers to invite their team, their CPAs, their attorneys, everybody to be involved with specific roles and permissions so they get to see certain things, that they don't get to see certain things, edit certain things on behalf of the seller who might not be very well versed in this process. As well as one of the things we've been thinking about in the future is like, how do we create a curated approved network of Maverick advisors? So if you don't have a CPA, how do we provide one for you who can review all these documents for you, kind of give the, I like to call it the Carfax approval. So if we can get it to a point where it's a Maverick approved kind of a business. Next slide. If you go back to preparing for sale. Yeah, here, what we're really doing here is, I think, I mentioned AI. A part of the things that we want to package it up so that there's a prospectus, there's a SIM, confidential, memorandum, right? Packaging the business for a lot of buyers this is the framework that they're used to. So we prepare a lot of this. And this is where a lot of the training of the models comes from. Next slide. And QBN is where, again, subscribed buyers get to come and see highly qualified, highly scored businesses that they can actually interact with and start engaging with the seller. Next slide. And as far as deal flow, what we're really trying to do here is allow potential buyers to request for information. So we give them snippets of stuff. There's NDAs in place there, and if they want to go further, this is really where the due diligence starts, right? Where the disclosure happens between seller and buyer, request for additional information by buyers. Eventually, we want to get to an actual purchase agreement. We are looking at things of how to integrate escrow at some point so that we're actually the holder of the entire transaction, so that people don't go off platform or try to do a separate deal or anything like that. We want sellers to know that money's coming and it's coming from Maverick. Next slide. And again, just like another use of AI for us is using agentic AI bots. These models know the framework really well. They know the process really well because we've invested 5-6 years in the tech. What it's now going to be able to do is actually look at the data for your specific business and help you along the way. So it's always there. If we see that you're struggling, we might be able to just offer help to you. So it'll just be a pop-up in the app. As well as a very important part, if you're selling or buying a business, is it's time, and you don't want to waste time. It's like gas to the pedal. So one thing we're really stressing is transparency and knowing every step of the way what's happening, right? So you are getting an alert if something happened, something was uploaded, something was edited. You got a message from a potential buyer's advisor who's asking for additional information. So this is really where that multi-team enablement comes from. Next slide. Insights. We are going to be providing both buyers and sellers with the right data that they really need to see, right? So can they improve their business listing based on impressions and views and things like that? So very much like a website, right? They're marketing their business, and we want to be able to help them package that up. We also want them to kind of see how that journey is going.
This brings together teams, business owners, buyers, all based around making business sales more successful. And I know Eric has a ton to share about that.
Cool. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Well, I'm excited to be here with everyone today. My name is Eric Jackson. So I've been in tech a long time, and I want to start with that as just I think an explanation as to why I'm so excited to be part of the Maverick team, and also excited that this business is just poised to do some incredible things. So my background, I joined PayPal back in the early days after I graduated from Stanford. Peter Thiel recruited me in. I worked with Elon Musk for a little while, and all those many people, the PayPal mafia. And I've worked at multiple startups since. I've started some, I've advised others, raised venture capital, and had a chance to really see technology from a lot of different perspectives. And the thing that gets me so excited about Maverick really comes down to two things. One, what it's doing, and two, how it's going to do it. So in terms of what it's doing, it's solving a really painful problem out there in the marketplace. This is not just a trivial matter of trying to make money with some sort of video game or something other that's not impactful technology. We're talking about people's lives that get impacted by their inability to sell their small business. We're also talking about a lot of willing buyers, eager buyers, both private equity, but also a lot of millennials that want to enter the market. They view buying a successful small business as better than trying to start one themselves. And yet there's this huge market of inefficiency. This inefficiency is really significant, and it's going to grow. because we're talking about a retirement wave that's coming. Do you know roughly 51% of all small businesses are owned by baby boomers? And just the demographic, ticking clock will tell you that they're going to have to exit over the next decade or so. So we're talking about upwards of $10 trillion of net value of all these small businesses that will need to change hands. So I think that to me is really exciting about this market opportunity. But I'm also excited about the technology itself and what it's actually doing. It's one thing to build like a little piece of SaaS or an app, but really Maverick, I think, is best thought of as a platform. It's a place where multiple parties can come and do business together. And there's some real network effects around this. And what do I mean? I'll explain all that quickly, but I'll do it through the lens of PayPal. So one of the things that made PayPal so successful was that it was a place where buyers and sellers could actually go and transact, and that was really hard to do back in the early days of the internet. And this multi-sided kind of platform that allowed these parties to come together and remove transactional friction could speed things up and make things safer. So we have that here in Maverick. We also have a viral loop in the sense that if I'm on there trying to find a business, if you're on there trying to sell a business, you're going to bring other people to the platform as well. You're going to invite attorneys and CPAs and business brokers. They're natural connectors. This is going to enable this platform to grow and grow quickly and build a network effect where it gets more and more valuable as we go along. So when I think about the prospects for this company, I'm extremely excited, and hopefully uh, this demonstration of the upcoming product release and the discussion of the pain points that it solves conveys some of that excitement to you as well. So without further ado, let me hand it over to Martin Hanson, our CEO, and Martin's going to bring it home.
Thanks, Eric. And a big thanks to everyone who's joined us today. We're grateful for your time. I have to do really well because my sister's on this call. A quick thank you to the team, Elena, Bella, David, Eric, Marla. Great job laying out the framework for Q4. Appreciate it. I'm going to be very direct. As you've heard, the failure rate in selling and buying a small business isn't just high, it's systemic. As a middle market investment banker with a 90% plus close rate over the last 3 decades, I can say with confidence the small business deal process is a full-blown dumpster fire, and it's time to put it out. This isn't about layering tech over a broken system. We've, as the team has said, we've reimagined the entire process from the ground up. No more public marketplaces, no more sellers that aren't ready, and no more tire-kicking buyers. Our initial testing, this platform works every single time. Yes, it's taken us years and years to get there, but we're there now. We're launching Q4, and we're really excited. So a quick story. Businessman in his 70s said something to me. He absolutely nailed it. He used both a metaphor and an analogy, not necessarily easy to do. He told me, he said, Martin, the light bulb went off when I took an Uber to the airport. He goes, that's why I'm going to invest. Current systems like an old school taxi, waving, whistling, calling in for a ride. You guys are Uber with a smartphone. So, spot on. Now, the elephant in the webinar. There are a lot of very small issues related directly to the problem as it relates to business broker. There is a lot of very, very smart and very, very capable business brokers out there. No question, no equivocation. And they help thousands and thousands of people every year sell and buy small businesses. Some of those brokers are on this webinar. The problem isn't them or their talent. The problem is scalable bandwidth. And that's where the Q4 platform comes in. Automation, human support, complete package, and it's completely scalable. So, our mission is simple. We want to change the failure rate just like everyone else does. The 80+% down to 5 or less. And we're going to achieve this. And that's when the network effect, as Eric just pointed out, is going to take care of itself. This isn't just about money, although money's important. I get it. It's about people as well. About protecting the legacies and the retirement plans. Baby boomers And generations behind them deserve confidence, not chaos, when selling or buying a business. So I want to be clear. Right now, there are far more qualified buyers than there are qualified sellers. And our Q4 platform is going to solve this imbalance. I'm going to pause there for a minute and open it up for questions. So Elena, Bella, you guys can take it from here. You're muted.
I saw that. Thank you. A little late to the game on that. Okay, so we do have a couple questions in our Q&A. I'll go ahead and lead with the first one, but I want to revisit the one that's been answered via text. So let's start with using capitalize. How might that fit in? Marla, I know that you could probably articulate the answer to this nicely. So let's go ahead and have you take that.
Yeah, so Capitalize is a software that helps advisors to create succession and a readiness plan for their clients. What Maverick does is it picks up from there. Basically, it handles the valuation, it helps with packaging the deal to be able to market the deal to prospective buyers. Most important is the buyer matching and then the deal execution. So really together they provide a complete solution. You know, you could think of Capitalize for planning and Maverick for successfully closing the deal.
Thank you for that, Marla. Appreciate that. Martin, can you elaborate on your comment about having more qualified buyers than sellers? On the fact that there are more qualified buyers than sellers?
Well, I'm not sure how to qualify that, except I've done this for about 30 years, and there's always qualified buyers ready to do a deal. The problem is the sellers typically are not ready to sell, regardless of whether they're a $200,000 East LA liquor store or they're a $200 million engineering firm. Doesn't matter. They're typically not ready to be sold until somebody gets in there and helps them. So,
Thank you.
as just another brief example, Elena, our firm, the M&A firm, has got several buy-side engagements right now, real deals. It is very, very difficult to find qualified sellers. And we're professionals. We're out there doing it all the time. And the reason is because they're not ready to sell. They haven't seen a Marla or some of the brokers that are on this call. They haven't gotten the expertise, the help that they need, the navigation they need in order to be ready to be bought. So hopefully that
Appreciate
answers the
that.
question.
Yeah. Yeah, and Michael, if you want more clarification, please elaborate. But Marla, I want to go back to you for this question here. How does the software, how does Maverick compare to Value Builder, Capitalize, BizEquity, Exit Map, and so on?
Yeah, so
Mouse software.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Value Builder tool and the other platforms that were mentioned, those are exit planning tools. Value Builder is very different than like Mouse or Core Value because Value Builder really operates as a tool to help change the mindset of the business owner. And many business owners that I talk to, they have no idea what buyers are looking for, much less how to start working on them. They're so focused on generating income and getting through the day to day. And so by providing them an assessment that gives them a score and the value drivers that matter to a buyer, it's why a buyer would discount a business and why a buyer may not buy a business. It really separates between whether a buyer can build a business or and get a faster return on their investment versus buying a business and getting that return. And so we provide the Value Builder assessment that gives them a score of the 8 drivers. So then we can assess, is that business ready to sell? And then further, with the Maverick platform, what that does is if they are ready to sell, then we give them the opportunity to start working on their profile, start building out that business listing that is so important to attract the right buyers. And then we guide them through how to do that. So they get not only a readiness to make sure they should sell. We're not adding to the stats, Elena, right? That's the worst thing we could do. But then we also give them a guided platform so that they can navigate that sale, and we give them assistance through navigators that help them to know what to do next. What's the next steps?
That was very well said. Thank you, Marla. And Siva, I know you asked some questions. We're recording this, so we're going to share the recording with you since you were a little late joining. That will help you understand a little bit more about the Maverick process. And the comment by Martin, he said, it seems to me when 14 million boomers are going to be rushing to the exit, it will be even more of a buyer's market, which is the exact reason Maverick is going to make such a big difference, because instead of going to the market unprepared and being a statistic of 80% that hit the market fail to sell, now they're going to have the opportunity to put their best foot forward, find the right buyers, and actually become successful in their mission to sell their business. We would love some more Q&A if anybody wants to chime in. Other than that, we've gone over the questions that our audience has submitted, and what a wonderful time spent together with you guys. Martin, would you like to maybe close us out with a few words?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Mhm.
You know, to our investors, our partners, our affiliates, we know you get it. Now the broader market is starting to get it as well. You know, over $1 trillion every single year is lost in business value into this broken system. And we're fixing it. And no, we're not even Doge. You know, that's why, you know, potential strategic partners, VCs, angels are paying very close attention to us. And so it's a good time to invest in us right now with WeFunder, or by reaching out to me directly, especially if, you know, the number's more than 5 figures. We'll drop a direct WeFunder link into the page here. And also we're going to give you a sign up link to be notified prior to the Q4 launch. So if anybody has anything else, let me know. But otherwise, thank you again for your time and your belief in what we're building here. So that's all I've got. Thanks, team. And everybody,
Thank
let's do good
you.
today.
Thank you.
How fun, right? This was great.
you.
Thank you guys so much for joining us, and visit us, maverick.com, go to our WeFunder. We look forward to hearing from you. Take care.
All right. Thank you.